Hi guys, this is Diana and welcome back to Crazy Creativity. Today I have a very fast moving video because something's going on with my account that's not letting me upload videos longer than 15 minutes, so I'm hoping it's not going too fast. But today I have a ephemera foil that will stand on your desk, sort of like if it was a picture frame. And I start off with the picture frame backing from the 99-cent store. And I design it and I figure out how I'm going to do it and how it's going to rotate in its movement and where I'm going to attach it and how I'm going to attach it so that it works when I'm able to put away the stand or when I'm able to use it as a notebook or in different formats. So I want to be able to store the notebook as if it was a book, or I want to be able to store it on my desk like when I'm flipping through the ephemera. And so I want it to be standing as well. So once I figure out my design on the outside, I start cutting my layers in cardboard. Now, I know it's going fast, guys. I'm sorry. I don't know if you guys would have preferred this video to go to part B or part A. Let me know down in the comments. As for now, I I'm doing it as one. I'm hoping you guys enjoy it. I'm hoping you guys can kind of still see what I did and how I did it. But anyways, I'm patching pieces of cardboard together so that it looks kind of like, I want to say leather, but it's just multi-layered cover of my ephemera foil. And once I cut it out on my little parts, some of them are just for decoration, but some of them, as you guys can see, will be holding the scissors and will be holding that Tim Holtz, it messes up the edges. And for my back paper, I'm using this matte paper. Now, don't laugh at me because I know it's going to be upside down. I didn't realize it. I was watching TV, as we all do, craft. So I didn't notice and I put it upside down. But, anyways, once I have my cardboard cut out, I make sure I sand it because otherwise I have like ugly edges or like perfectly circular edges. They look more like a cutout rather than like a nice clean edge. So I make sure I sand it. So also when I paint it, it's gonna pick it up. If I don't sand it, it's gonna pick up all the fuzzes that the scissors leave and the knife leave when you cut it. And I don't want that on my texture. I mean, I like texture, but clean texture or made texture that I somehow managed together. To tell you guys a little bit of the pocket pages that I'm going to be using inside, I found baseball card pages, pocket pages, and I also am regular using the regular um, pocket pages that are 8 by 10. So, but what I did to them differently is that I cut the ends where they would be holding to a regular ring binder, and I used a little strip of paper, and then I used my staple binding system. I really enjoy that method because I feel like it's less bulky and it looks nicer. It gives it makes your book look more interesting. I have another video, I'll link it down below on how do you do that. I made a big folder and a little index card folder with that system, and it's really fun. It's I don't know if I've ever seen it before, but it's a fun and interesting method. So I don't show the pages here that often. You guys will see it at the end how I filled it up and how it's very comfortable to use this um, ephemera folder, you say. But they're fun. They're really fun, and they're very easy to use because it holds the ephemera tight, so it's like a very tight pocket. Because I don't know how to sew yet. I wish I would, and I'm gonna learn soon. But those pockets were already made. I've seen ladies make their own pockets with their sewing machine, and I envy them. Till I can do it myself, I'm gonna be getting them, and I got them for like $1 at the secondhand store, so it worked out great. My first coat is dark brown, but before I continue, I cover the map with clear gesso so that or gel, so that I can play with my shadowing or my outline better, and I won't rip the paper. I tend to rip the paper because I'm very aggressive with it. For my shadowing, I used watered down black, which is not water but coffee water that I used, and I just go around it a couple times to do a shadow around the outline in the on the bottom part. Then I go with a caramel brown or yellowish with my finger and rub it so that it gives it that added texture on there. Then after that, I just gotta attach my decorations, or I don't know, little arms. I noticed that my scissors were kind of like lifting off my paper quite high, so I decided to cut a little hole, well, punch out a little hole for the little knob or the screw that holds the two parts together. And that's what was making it dance and making it higher than off the paper more than it should. So I just poured a hole, and there's just a hole, nobody could see it but me. So to attach the scissors to the paper, I decided to do they're kind of like snaps buttons. I don't have the big crocodile like clamps, so it was hard for me to snap them on. So what I did is I would snap the other end, or there's a male and a female, so I would snap the male on another piece of leather, and then I would glue that piece of leather onto my board because my crocodile wouldn't reach that far in. See how it's very shallow? It's like an inch in, so I couldn't get to to where I wanted to put the snap on the board. Plus, I think the cardboard would have been too thick because they're usually for like onesies for the babies, those kind of little snaps. So I don't think it would have worked so well with the cardboard. So I would put it on my faux leather, and then I would glue the faux leather on the board. And then the other side that's actually attached to to the the board, to the cover, it's a rivet. So I didn't have any problem. I just did a hole and would attach the other end that doesn't snap on and off, to the board itself. And I did that as well with the bottom part. I painted it first. The edge grunger from Tim Holtz. I painted it black just because it was gray and red and it didn't match my cover. So I grabbed alcohol ink that one of my machines that I work with at work. If you don't know, I work for my husband's an artist and we print canvas. So our machine gives me this very cool ink, and so I use that in some of my projects, and it dyes and it inks the plastic really good without melting it. So that's why I like it a lot. Anyways, I'm using the same technique here, and you guys will be able to see how I attach these snips on the leather, because not only does my crocodile doesn't fit all the way inside, but I realized that it wasn't appropriate for this kind of snaps. It would crush the little male part, so it wasn't snapping right. So I figured out that if I grab two pliers, one on each side, then I can go ahead and press them either both at the same time or one at a time. But I would have to hold it still with the other plier, because if I press it on one side, the other side would lift up, and so you'd have to use both pliers at the same time. But it works great. I don't even need a crocodile if I didn't want to. But that was only for the male part. The female part, it was still being able to use with the crocodile, and it works really good with that. But if you don't have a crocodile rivet thing or press, then you can use pliers. You don't have to use the crocodile. I got mine at like $5 and it came with a bunch of stuff, attachments to it. I got mine at like a yard sale or something like that. That's why I have one, but otherwise I don't know if I would have one. But you guys can see that in this case, in the female part of the snap, I do use my crocodile. They're a little tricky because it wants to like slide and dance everywhere. But you guys can see that it works great with this one. And And then I do the same thing. I attach that part to my board, to my cover, and that's great. And I do another, on top of the brown, dark brown that I painted, I use that watered down black again because it doesn't cover it good, but it gives you that like sort of like waxed um look without being waxed. I like it because you can apply as many coats as you want, and it still gives you that antique vintage look. And you can apply it unevenly, and it works even better when you do. And I also apply that mixture of watered down black to that faux leather, so it makes it look more vintagey. And guys, I have to apologize if you guys hear my kids in the background. They're like play fighting in their room, so I hear them laughing. I'm gonna try to take it away from the video, but it's inedible. So you guys will be able to hear them. Anyway, so for the inside of my covers, I'm going to do pockets on one of the sides of the pocket, the inside of the front cover. I want to do like a pocket. So at the ends of the pocket, I do an accordion, and then I attach the ends to one side, and then I use some of leftover of the matte paper on the other side. And this is some paper, I don't know where. I think it was like another yard sale. I got this like long strips of double-sided paper, and they have these really cool colors. And I have lots of them, and I think I got it for like $1 or something. Anyways, and I enjoy using them a lot because they're like a little thicker. They're like a little thicker than cardstock, or they're like heavy cardstock. So it's really sturdy. So to close that little accordion pocket that I'm making, I'm putting a magnet. So I punched a hole that goes all the way through the front, and I then cover it from the back, meaning the inside of the cover. And then I use this little snap that has the other magnet. So when I close it together, it snaps on there. But I use this piece of paper and I wet it with the glue so that I can kind of go around the circumference of the magnet, and I can shape it with it so that the magnet can still go inside the hole, and it gives it more stability when the magnet they sit on something that doesn't let them slide off. So I made kind of like a seat in between the papers so that the magnet wouldn't slide off that easily. And then I do the same process. I used my watered down black or coffee down black the same way. Anyway, so I do the same thing with the inside of the back paper. It's just the back had this really big screw where I would use like a screw for the picture frame. So I couldn't do the same thing. It was hard for me to decide what I was gonna do. So I decided to do two side pockets. And I use the same concept pretty much. I used two little pockets, and I decorated it with I don't know what they would be called, but there are these kind of decorations that I figured they would look kind of crazy, so I used it all throughout the front and the backs of my covers. And I also, instead of using magnets as closures for my pockets in the back, I used Velcro. I just used a little dot of Velcro, and then I would attach the positive and negative on those little flaps, and they worked out great. I don't really need them to hold as much as they did on the front. And to put it all together, I used twine. I have this black twine, and I used, it's like a simple zigzag, and I just tie it in the back. And here's how you do it. This is how it's used. It's actually very, very cool because I don't like the big books sitting on my desk because I mean I have a big desk, but it just takes so much space off my desk that I have to have it sit there and I could see it better. It just works really good. I might be doing more just because I have so much. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. Till next time, stay safe.